So thanks for joining me, everyone. President Trump thinks he's president. He is standing up to Congress and demanding funding for the border wall. He wants $5 billion. Congress is offering nothing. And yet I suppose the left wants to blame him, even though there should be a compromise. And the question should be asked exactly why the Senate doesn't want to secure the border. He's withdrawing American troops from Syria. He's pulling back troops from Afghanistan, like he promised he would do when he ran for office. In fact, it's my understanding that 100,000 troops will be withdrawn from Afghanistan sometime next month. President Trump thinks he's the president. He's actually acting on issues that he brought up during the campaign and that he ran on, and that they are issues that run very contrary to the interests of the internationalists, the globalists, the multinational corporations, and what we might euphemistically call the Eastern Seaboard liberal establishment. Ironically, of course, you would think that the left would applaud the move to withdraw from America's perpetual overseas wars, which have not made anyone any safer and which are costing the lives and the limbs of American soldiers. You'd think they'd applaud that, but they won't, because it's not them doing it. They also, the only reason they're not supporting the border wall is because it's not them doing it and they're afraid it'll work. But President Trump is acting on things that he believes are in the best interest of the United States and that he was elected to do. Securing the national border so that we don't have an influx of illegal aliens, pulling out of foreign wars that are not sensible and that really are not productive at all, working with our allies to use economic levers to ensure that there's not an expansion of the war, working out a trade deal with China while he was in the Rio conference, or not the Rio conference, the Buenos Aires conference, that requires them to stop some of this cyber spying and agreeing to several other conditions in exchange for reduction of tariffs, and generally taking actions that benefit directly the American people and our American sovereign nation. I pray for Donald Trump, because the last president to do this was John F. Kennedy, and we know what happened to him. Reagan tried to do it partially, and we know what almost happened to him. So, the American people, whether you agree with President Trump or not, we all ought to pray this year for his safety. And we all ought to have an understanding somewhat of the gravity upon which he is acting, which is contrary to the international order that put both the Bushes and Obama in power, and that they were the tools of, and instead actually running this country in the context of the executive powers and serving in a way that he was elected to serve. President Trump has more guts than any president I've seen, probably since Kennedy and Reagan to an extent. And for that, he certainly has my gratitude and admiration, but given the situation, he has my prayers. I really fear for him, and I only hope that enough people wake up to these realities so that we can ensure not only his safety, but God forbid, if something happens, that we will continue to move on the trajectory of independence, sovereignty, freedom, and prosperity. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Merry Christmas. Have a good afternoon.